I know that a lot of my people watching these videos love animals, and that's why they have pets at home. Some of us have had them for a while, and some of us just adopted our animal friends recently. But some people have very exotic pets, animals that you never thought could live with humans. All of those animals that you can only find at the zoo, or in the most hidden parts of the world, are actually living with people. In today's video, we'll be looking at celebrities with the most exotic pets in the world. You'll probably be shocked to see that some of your favorite famous people live with very exotic animals. Our first entry is Audrey Hepburn and her fawn. Having exotic pets is not a new trend. Celebrities have been doing it for a while. For example, remember Audrey Hepburn from Breakfast at Tiffany's? She was a famous British actress who lived from 1929 to 1993. And during her lifetime, she was lucky enough to become friends with a fawn. While she prepared for a role in the film Green Mansion, she had to interact with said fawn. The animal trainer suggested that Audrey should take the fawn home. She did and became so attached to it that she named it Pippin. They became very good friends. Chris Brown and his monkey. Well, this actually wasn't Chris's monkey. It was meant to be for his daughter, and it was a capuchin monkey, which made the situation even more exotic. However, as Chris Brown is off to do, he faced a lot of legal issues after the purchase. When the authorities found out that Chris didn't have a permit to have the monkey at home, they had to take it from him. Even had a name for the monkey, though. He named it Fiji, and Chris had to pay around $35,000 US to keep the monkey at fancy housing facilities after losing his rights to have him at home. Probably the saddest part is that Chris was not allowed to freely visit the monkey after the legal problems began. Charlie Sheen and his Chinese water dragon. The Two and a Half Men actor has had a lot of problems over the years, but he's also had a lot of exotic pets, which includes a Chinese water dragon, and also a bearded dragon. Sadly though, these dragons had terrible deaths. The bearded dragon fell into a pool and drowned, and the water dragon could not survive due to the lack of proper care. Our next entry is Cheryl Hines and her emu. The Emmy-nominated actress had hosted a lot of pets at her home. One of the most famous ones was an emu that her husband gave to their daughter as a gift. The emu was supposed to stay outside, but Cheryl had a dog that would always leave the door open and would allow the emu to walk inside their home. Finally, Cheryl's husband gave the emu to an emu farm in their local community. It probably was for the best, though. Our next entry is Leonardo DiCaprio and his sulcata tortoise. One of the most outspoken celebrities in terms of environmental activism is Leonardo DiCaprio. That's why it shouldn't be a surprise to us that he took $400 out of his pocket for an exotic sulcata tortoise in 2010 at the North American Breeders' Conference and Trade Show. Apparently, these animals can live up to 150 years and weigh as much as 90 kilos, so Leo better start making arrangements to decide who will take care of his tortoise after he's gone. Tori Spelling and her fluffy chicken. The Beverly Hills 90210 star has a chicken, but not just any chicken. It's a Silky Batam, which is a very fluffy breed, and she named it Coco. Tori allows Coco to sleep on her bed, and they even wear matching outfits to go out. I guess this makes Tori Spelling some sort of chicken fashion designer? Paris Hilton and her kinkajou. In other videos, we talked about kinkajous and how some people have adopted them as pets. Some believe it to be exotic, and some others think it's quite normal. Well, let me tell you something. I don't know many people who own kinkajous, and that's why it sounds quite exotic to me. And a lot of other people out there as well. But there's one celebrity who does own one, and that's the famous socialite Paris Hilton. Her kinkajou recently got attention for biting her owner for absolutely no apparent reason. Good job, Paris. Justin Bieber and his two exotic savanna cats. Justin Bieber is not new to the world of exotic animals. Much like Chris Brown, Justin has also adopted a capuchin monkey in the past. Now he's in the world of cats, though. He adopted two cats that are the result of a crossing of a domestic cat and an African serval. These cats are very exotic, and their human parent loves them so much that they even made an Instagram account for him, as many people often do. Our next entry is Vanilla Ice and his lynx. And Justin is not the only one who's had exotic cats at home. American rapper Vanilla Ice also used to have one. He had a lynx named Jinx, and he would treat the feline as if he was just a little kitten. But Vanilla Ice has been used to having exotic animals for a while, as with our next entry, Vanilla Ice and the Wallaroo. Besides having a lynx named Jinx, Vanilla Ice also had a Wallaroo, which is a marsupial. And in case you haven't figured it out yet, they're a cross between a wallaby and a kangaroo. And this particular Wallaroo was named Bucky, but he was a bit naughty. In 2004, Bucky and his friend Pacho the goat escaped their Florida home, and Bucky was finally caught after scratching someone's car. Mayim Bialik and her Peter Bald cat. You probably know Mayim Bialik from her role in The Big Bang Theory and many other TV shows and movies. But did you know that she has a cat? And not just any cat. It's a Peter bald cat. What makes this breed so unique is their absence of hair, which gives them a very strange appearance that a lot of people don't like. I mean, they actually do have a bit of hair, but it's almost invisible. However, Mayim doesn't mind that. She absolutely adores her cat. Our next entry is Amanda Seyfried and her animal farms. I guess Amanda's animals aren't exotic as the other animals I've mentioned so far. However, if you look at their pictures, these animals are quite photogenic. Besides the regular cats and dogs, Amanda has some chickens and a horse that she loves to take pictures with. You can tell that these animals also love the fun and the attention that they get from having a camera in front of them. Kim Kardashian and her chimpanzee. The Kardashians always know how to get themselves in trouble because they're ever so interesting. A while ago, Kim posted a picture of her new pet on her website. It was a chimpanzee and people weren't happy about it. Apparently, this is because in the same week, a woman was mauled by a pet chimp in Connecticut, so Kim's post seemed a little bit appropriate. In the end, she stated that she posted the photo only to prank her mother, but I guess the joke was on her for, not reading the room. Michael Jackson and Bubbles. Now here's someone who was actually friends with a pet chimp. Michael Jackson adopted a chimpanzee and he called him Bubbles. The duo was quite famous in the 80s and they were photographed together a ton of times. MJ sadly passed away in 2009, and by that time Bubbles was already living in a primate sanctuary in Florida. Kirstie Alley and her lemurs. One of the downsides of having exotic pets is that it costs a lot to maintain them. The money you spend on them goes beyond the money you spend on your regular pet's visits to the vet. In the case of Kirstie Alley, she spends around $50,000 a year for 2 people to take care of her lemurs. Ugh, what a life. Our next entry is Ice-T and the Baby Sharks. If I have to hear that song one more time, I am going to flip. And I know for a fact that comes to your mind when you hear Baby Sharks. But if you're Ice-T, then the first thing that comes to your mind is probably that group of baby sharks that he adopted and brought into his Hollywood home. His family loved sharks so much that they even went to the Bahamas and swam with sharks during a holiday in 2018. Beyoncé and the Snake. Sometimes we become attached to animals in unexplainable ways. In the case of Beyoncé, she became attached to her cousin Snake. The name of the snake was Fendi, and Beyoncé was obsessed with it. They were so close that Beyoncé and her cousins would watch TV while the snake would just crawl around and sit on their lap. Sadly, her father was a bit too scared of the reptile and asked the girls to send Fendi to another home in which there weren't parents who were scared of her. Kristen Stewart and the Wolf. In case you don't remember, the Twilight movies are the ones that made Kristen Stewart famous. In the story, her character is in love with a werewolf and a vampire. Well, I guess she loved her role so much because she ended up adopting a wolf hybrid and named him Jack. She decided to write a letter to explain that Jack wasn't as scary as people thought. According to Kristen, Jack was sweet and he would follow at her feet. Now it's time for the day's best pick. These animals are better left alone, but the picture I chose for the day shows us a very unlikely duo that has gained a lot of fame. They even made a cameo in a movie. Let's check out this story with Mike Tyson and his tiger. If there's someone who would have a tiger without a problem, that'd be Mike Tyson. The boxer had 3 tigers between the 90s and the early 2000s. His relationship with tigers is so evident that he even had a cameo in The Hangover, in a scene in which he asked the protagonist why they took his tiger. Honestly though, Mike Tyson is the real Tiger King, not Joe Exotic. Ultimately though, Mike did recognize that having a tiger at home was a very bad idea, so he sent the tiger to a new home and he got a dog instead. Before we move on, do me a favor. My analytics show that only about 15% of you watching are actually subscribed. Come on guys, what's up with that? Can you guys please hit the subscribe button? You guys watch my videos every day anyway, so you might as well subscribe and keep up to date with every video we put out. Our next entry is Tippi Hedren and her lion. And what can be scarier than a tiger? A lion. But the protagonist of Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds didn't have a problem with having lions at home. However, she finally moved them to the Shambhala Preserve, an animal sanctuary that she founded in California. And there you go. These are some of the most exotic pets and their famous owners. Do you know of any other famous people with an exotic pet? Or perhaps even you have an exotic pet at home? Well, let us know in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear it. And if you own any of these pets, please love them and take care of them. And make sure you have the permits to have them at home. With all that said and done, that's our video for the day, folks, and I will see you all next time. Later, everybody.